Hey, everybody. Welcome on in. And yes, we are going to be going tonight on a Wednesday. Yes, I had a long, drawn out board meeting that I did not want to be at that long, but such is life, such is the game. So we are going to be postponed it to tonight. Hopefully, you guys can make it tonight. It'd be greatly appreciated to see some people out there. Make sure you hit that like button. I already see one like already. Let's see if we can get that up there a little bit tonight as we get going. But today, is Pokemon going nuclear? That's the real question that we have going on, especially when it comes down to content creators. What are we seeing? What is happening? And it is absolutely going crazy right now with the way the hobby in general is going right now. So we will cover that. We'll cover the market, of course, and we're gonna have a video coming up too on Friday. I'm gonna cover all of those things, kind of do a little bit of a segment on each one today as we get going. So first of all, is Pokemon going nuclear? We're seeing a lot of infighting between creators again, and this is something we saw in 2021. People nitpicking what people were doing in 2021, 2020, and how they were doing things wrong. And it seems like we're getting to that stage now. It's like watching all the stages of denial happening all in real time. And realistically, that's kind of what we're at. Now, I'm not saying any creator is right or wrong. I'm not saying that this creator is more right than another creator, but this is something that I said a couple months ago was going to start to occur, is that the infighting was going to keep increasing. And as that infighting keeps increasing, it's going to somewhat be kind of detrimental, because then we get back to this finger pointing, going around circles, nothing actually being accomplished. And it's really something that we need to be cautious of as we keep moving forward. I hope that the content creators start to settle down a little bit, especially. I like it when people are even Danny Phantom became an enemy this time, which I did not personally think was possible in any way, shape, or form, to see Danny Phantom get brought down to a villain in the Pokemon TCG. I'm one of them places where he is so down to earth and has really, really good information, that the fact that someone tried to villainize him was pretty good. Not gonna lie about that. So it's really going to continue. I think that this isn't the end. This isn't nearly the stopping point for where we are with it. Do I think that it's going to be solved? I don't think so. I think the only thing that's going to solve it is eventually tensions are going to drop, because things are going to change in the market. Things are going to happen where we have more products available, and everybody becomes enemies as time kind of moves and stress continues to grow. There's a lot of stress right now in the Pokemon hobby for people that are, number one, talking about investments, number two, talking about the market, number three, selling product and trying to make earnings and make livings off of products. This is a very detrimental time for them as well, which is where personally I'm kind of glad this isn't my full-time job, where if I can't get products such as Journey together, well, it just is what it is, and I can just put everything in mothballs and just sell bulk, or I can go and play with graded cards. It doesn't make it so that it's my livelihood, but for some individuals that this is their livelihood, I do know quite a few, and I know you guys do as well. Some full-time content creators, some full-time, pack breakers, and all those kind of people. This is very, very detrimental to them, because they can't get the product they need in the demand that's out there currently. And now, looking at myself, when it comes down to my distributor and stuff, I talked to my distributor rep, and they pretty much told me don't even pre-order. I will not get any pre-orders. They will never guarantee any pre-orders. If I don't purchase close to $50,000 per month through them and all TCGs and all aspects, they really are not going to guarantee that they're even giving me anything for Destiny's Rivals. So I don't even have anything going out for that set. It's basically going to be free market. It's going to be pretty much whatever I can find at this point in time, if I want to continue to do business. If I want to continue to go and do my pack breaks, or do my online store sales and do sealed product sales and that kind of stuff, then I'm going to have to go out into the open market, into the wild, and try and find these products. I'm not getting them from any distributor. Southern Hobby pretty much told me that if I'm not able to do $50,000 a month, they're not really interested in my business currently. ACD pretty much told me that if I'm not willing to do about $25,000 per month, they were about half of Southern Hobby. They pretty much said that they won't guarantee any product to me either. So basically, because of the fact that I am so low on the totem pole, and that I just do enough to satisfy my needs with only 2 days a week going 3 hours live, I'm not making enough in order to do that. I'm not selling enough throughput. I'm not finding enough product to push through the throughput. And that's just something that we're going to continue to see. This isn't uncommon. This isn't something that's crazy to think of, that this is a situation that we're in, but it's definitely something that is going to continue to move forward and cause some real ripples. And that's where my video is going to come on a Friday. I'm going to kind of roll into that too here in just a minute. But the infighting is going to continue to happen. When Danny Phantom says he gets 750 booster boxes and he's mad because he got 500, when smaller channels are not able to get any in some cases, I understand where there could be that animosity, that anger, or that trying to finger point at the fact that someone's a villain now because of the fact that they are able to get this product, this item, this thing that everybody else wants, but we're not able to get through the channels that we want to get it through. Whether it's sleeve blisters, I mean, I usually order 4 cases of sleeve blisters for my streaming, and I got a half of one for Journey Together. I usually order, 2 cases or 3 cases of booster boxes. I got 1 booster box. I usually order, 5 cases of ETBs, 5 to 10 cases of ETBs. I got half of half of a case of ETBs. So the amount of quantity that I was able to get even for Journey Together was ridiculously low. And it really does put you in a predicament of how do you want to continue to handle business? Do you want to continue to try and push and try and find sources? And there really aren't any. It's not like I can go apply to another distributor at this point in time and hope to see better results. I'm not big enough. And there's a lot of channels and a lot of people out there currently that are not big enough to do that. And it's creating this holocaust inside of the Pokemon space right now, and it's definitely something that's going to continue. I don't see any real relief to this. A lot of people speculate that Pokemon's doing this intentionally, trying to push to the 30th anniversary coming up next year of the Pokemon TCG. Is that what I think is going on? I don't know. I really am not going to speculate down that rabbit hole to make that call, to really say yes or no to that. What I will say is that I think that there are opportunities that are out there in different aspects of the hobby. I think there are different places that people can go. If you really want to outreach and move a little bit, now may be a time to do that. If you need to pay bills and you're looking for ways to pay bills, there may not be an opportunity for that unless you're really entrenched and ingrained into some part of this hobby to do that. So overall, I think that there's opportunity. I think the infighting is going to continue. We're going to see this continuous upheaval inside of things, people getting more and more nasty towards other content creators, towards other businesses, towards other individuals when they're talking about things that are going on currently and how they perceive things. Some people are perceiving it completely differently, and that animosity is going to continue. So just know that in probably a year, when everything kind of settles down, everything kind of deflates, and everything comes back to a normal rhythm, that we're probably going to see things kind of balance out better, and we're probably going to see things in a better light, and things are going to do a little bit better. So regardless if Opossum Bud is twisting around and making videos on Danny Phantom going after Opossum Bud, Nostalgianomics doing his victim game, it's all the things. It's all the same things that we continue to see, and we watch these things continually come over. And you want to know something? If Nostalgianomic fans came on here and say that I'm making a big deal out of nothing, it's his video that says I'm victim number 1. That's his video, man. I mean, I just can't sit there and do anything differently than put up what he's actually talking about. And overall, I know some people are going to stand up for any one of these creators. Danny Phantom, I do enjoy all of them. I enjoy all of their content. They all do really good things, but these are the situations that are going to continue to occur. And it's just kind of starting in small sectors, certain aspects of the hobby. You're going to see this, and it's going to continue to build and move. You're probably going to see other things happen, other people and content creators switch on each other. I may even have someone go against me. I have no idea. It's just a matter of what's going to happen right now, and how people are going to act are going to be really interesting. And in this hobby, this is pretty much something that we talked about here on the channel about 2 months ago, how this is going to happen. We're going to go nuclear. Something's going to break. The stresses are going to get too high for some individuals, and that stress factor is going to cause some friction inside of the hobby. And creators that may have never even been introduced to each other, or maybe not even had anything to do with each other, will start pushing out information about how this person's doing something wrong, how this information's wrong. Any piece of information that's out there is now going to be put under a microscope, and that microscope is going to have a tinted lens for whoever's looking through it. So this individual might find it as good information. The next individual may see it as horrible information. And that's something that we're just going to have to keep in mind as we keep moving forward. Keep a straight head, keep it cool, and just continue to look at the facts rather than sitting and trying to look at the drama that's going to start being created. And drama sells, and that's something that a lot of individuals do know as well, is that drama sells, and the drama pushing is going to happen regardless. And now is a great time with the current market in this space, with the opportunity for growth in this space, to definitely push that narrative to try and increase that volume, or that narrative of drama that people are really looking for. So once again, that's part of the part I want to talk about when it came down to Pokemon going nuclear. It's going to continue to happen. We've got, scalping through the roof. We have got content creators nitpicking other content creators for views. We have got, individuals out there in the hobby stealing. We've even got Spider-Man going out and robbing stores now. So this is how serious Pokemon is, guys. Spider-Man's involved, and he's gone to the villain side. And this is going to continue, and we need to be vigilant and be ready for justice in this hobby. So moving on, we're going to be talking now about the next part of it, which was going to be, I'm doing a video, and it's going to be, and I'm going to let people know that watch my lives and are continuing there. It's probably going to be a very hot topic, and I'm predicting that I'm probably going to get a lot of potentially nasty comments on it. But the fact of the matter is absolutely true. And Journey Together was finally the turning point on where I said this video needs to be done. And it's going to be strictly down to what small businesses are having to do right now in the current market. I know some individuals are just going to absolutely disagree. They're going to call all these businesses scalpers. They're going to go all the way down this pathway. But let's be 100% honest, that's not entirely the truth. And we're going to break that down a little bit on Friday's video to kind of cover that end of what's happening as well. And then finally, the last thing that I did want to talk about here tonight, of course, what's going on in the market. We are still seeing some retraction on a lot of Illustrator rares. Journey Together, of course, pushing into the market now, and we're seeing some really big movements on there, some really good pricing. And I mean, we can jump in as of today, which is going to be April 2nd. Typically, this would be April 1st, but April 2nd here of 2025. We can do a price comparison right now on what the hottest cards are right now in Journey Together, so that we can sit down together and see how much this may change in the near future. And why is it giving me that as the pricing? Hold on. Hold up. Hey, Frank Nitty, how you doing? So, like I said, this is going to be as of April 2nd, and we can kind of watch this set over the next few months, weeks, whatever we want to do to see how this continues to move forward, like we do on other sets. Right now, Lily's Clefairy EX SIR, of course, is number one, $225 currently, and Zoark EX is going to be the next one at $140. Salamence EX is going to be, or SIR is going to be $136. Iono and Bellybolt EX is going to be sitting at about $100, and the Hops Zacian EX is sitting at about $89. The Articuno, one of my favorite artworks in the set. I'm an Articuno fan, so I'm definitely going to be biased to that, is in here as well, and a very, very nice deal as well. Really nice card for that also. The other one that's doing really well is the box promo as well. That's sitting at about $29.99 currently. And I think it's because there seems to be a little bit of a lack of booster boxes as well. And Zoark EX is sitting out here about 36. The Wailord sitting at 35, and then we got the gold Billy Bolt EX, and the End Zoark EX is the gold as well for the 36, sitting about $32. So we have seen them drop. We've seen prices come down, which is to be expected in the first couple weeks, months, even the first year of a set. We do see a retraction in price. For example, when we saw the Lily's Riboby coming out, it was at $55 on release day, and then we've just seen, or since pre-release, we've seen a nice gradual decrease on that, and it's all the way down to about $17. Do I think that's a realistic price for it? Yes, I think that's probably straight on. We've got Lily's Clefairy, once again, EX. I have actually happened to pull this one in my first and only 3-pack blisters that I opened on this. I did hit this card, and I sent it out to grading immediately, so it'll be really interesting to see if I can get a 10 on this card. I think that predictive-wise, I think a 10 would be really hot, especially right at the beginning. This card came out raw on March 15th at $605, and slowly it's trickled down. On release, it was about $350, and then currently on today's pricing, it's down to about $338. So we have seen a continual and gradual drop on every one of these products since the pre-release and since it's been opened up on TCG Player. Once again, 100% expected by how the market's going to continue to handle this. I guess that's actually the eBay market, raw market on there. And then, of course, on release day on March 28th, we have it up at this End Zoark EX is sitting at about $211 and has gone down to about $125 currently at this point in time. So we are seeing the retractions and normal settling that we normally do inside of a new set release. Once again, I don't know if this is a super strong set compared to the next set coming. Even compared to Prismatic Evolutions, do I see this having big spikes or upturns like we've seen with Prismatic Evolutions just shortly after release, where we see that little bit of a drawdown at first and then exact opposite acceleration in the other direction? I don't know. For example, we saw the Moonbryon come out in pre-release. It was at about $2,000. It kind of sank down all the way down to almost, well, right here we're looking at about $1,200, and now we're coming back up to about $1,400 on that raw card. So we are seeing an increase on that, and this is all TCG player data as well. Some other places I see eBay is sitting at about $1,200, TCG player sitting at about $1,450 for the recent sales on each one of those platforms, and we got PSA 10 sitting about $3,000 currently on the Moonbrand. But we did see a downturn and then an increase in the price on some of these cards as well. Are we going to continue to see that with Journey Together? I don't know. I think a lot of them are going to flatline. The product availability seems to have been very, very stagnant comparatively to. It was better than Prismatic Evolutions for release at Walmart. I think we were talking about that on Sunday night, where and Antonio says that Lily's Clefairy is 209 right now. So it's 209. I don't see any recent sales at 209. Raw sale just sold on eBay was actually 278. It's going up a little bit. Lowest sale was actually yesterday, and yesterday's sale was 210 is the lowest sale that was yesterday, and now it's going back up. The recent sales have actually increased again, so we might be seeing some value increase on this card. It's flatline for sure, but it's definitely showing an increase on it. 209. I don't know, Antonio, where you're seeing that, because I'm looking on eBay listings right now for it, and I'm not seeing it even on eBay listings at this point for that low. I see some auctions where they're down there, but I'm not seeing it actually that low currently when it comes down to buy nows. Let me try this one real quick. Lily's Clefairy EX SIR. So yeah, I'm looking right now. So 240 right now, 240, 250. I'm looking at recent sales right now. Yeah, recent sales are all up there around that 278 was the last one. So Pokédata is pretty close to current sales right now on eBay. And just because one sells at that, you got to remember too that Pokédata is taking it and averaging it out for the day's sales too, from high to low. So TCG player. Let me look real quick on TCG player, just to see if I can find one that low. Because like I said, there's one for 210 yesterday, but it got averaged right out, bringing it back up, because then there's some for 270, 265. So even though there's one low sale, doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be your market price. Lily's Clefairy EX. Lily's. All right, and we want the SR. Should be this one. So let's go into the data. Once again, we can just pull up the data. TCG player has a market price right now. So their last sale on TCG player today was at 209. They've actually had 3 low sales today, around 200. So TCG player is selling a lot lower than right now is currently selling a lot lower than eBay. So keep that in mind too if you're going to sell this card right now. Current sales on eBay are sitting at about, the last sales are all sitting a lot higher than that. But like I said, sometimes you got to sit there and play where it's at. So the last sale today was 250, 250, 215 plus shipping, so 225, 275. Here's a lower one, but that's coming from the UK. So you got higher shipping costs on that one. 215. So yeah, 280, 450. I don't know why I only got 450. Holy cow. 450 on a recent sale. Authenticity guarantee on that one. 225, 265, 220. So TCG player is currently today selling lower than anything. So, and that might not be averaged into TCG player because they're looking at it from So I'm looking right now. Yeah, I mean, Pokedata is not showing me. These are just showing me current eBay. So all the current eBay sales are on here. It's not showing the TCG players though. So yeah, well, I see it because if you do go into so if you ever want to know why the market price is going down on TCG player, so I'm sitting here looking at it. Say it says on mine, it says 217 is the current value on it. But actually, TCG players having a lot of lower sales currently at this point in time. So 209. So today's sales, this is going to be the sales for just the second. We're looking at 209, 205, 200, 200, 200, 175, 201, 200, 201, 219, 202, 200, 220, 225, 200, 200, 200, 210, 205, and last one for today was 200. So basically, that's if you were to average that out, we're actually probably going to be lower than 200, right around 200 on TCG Player. So I don't know why they're selling so much cheaper on TCG Player. Well, we see it all the time. I shouldn't say I don't know why. eBay will do international. TCG Players a little bit harder sometimes to do international sales. So thus, people are moving this thing to UK, to Canada, to all these other locations, and that could be a big factor as well to why eBay's selling a little bit higher than TCG Play current. We see that with booster boxes too, that you could technically buy some things on TCG Player and then go sell them. Antonio, I don't think they add shipping to the market price. I don't know if they do or not, but shipping is only typically about $1.27 to no more than $4.99. So that's really not a huge market change as well on that. So I'm not 100% sure. Once again, we're seeing typical where we see that eBay doing better than TCG Player. Once again, when you're going to sell stuff, that's definitely a good point to have, and a good thing to keep in mind is always check to see which marketplace is selling more, because right now it seems like a lot of these are now like this one doesn't say, but I'm seeing a lot coming from UK to here, and I'm guessing there's probably a lot kind of shifting around between that and Australia that we're probably seeing some movement in the sales between countries on eBay, which is why people are willing to pay a little bit more. Higher rating people, so people with like 100, 200 sales are definitely getting a lot better pricing than, for example, the low one was someone that only had 27 sales on TCG or on eBay. So with 100% satisfaction, but only 27 sales, and they sold at 185. But I'm seeing the people with like 190, 1,000 sales, they're selling them at about 250 to 275. And it seems like it basically, once again, if you have better pricing, better reputation, you're getting better sales. So yeah, I mean, we're seeing some good things on that part. So Lily's Clefairy, I think it's going to drop. It's still going to come down probably to around that 150, 125, I think, in the next few months. That's just my feeling, especially as we get closer to Destiny's Rivals. I think people are going to want to move this card a little bit more. On release, people sometimes will hold for a while to see if what the market will do. They'll list it, hoping somebody will just buy it and not waiting for a market price to drop. So there's definitely some things that we are looking at on that point as well. So I think that this is still going to come down a little bit by the time it's said and done. Um, let's see. Moving on to the other market stuff. A lot of the other Illustrator rares are coming down in price fairly quickly at this point in time. Not surprising. We had a little bit of a boom. Now we're coming down a little bit of a. I don't want to call it a bust, but we're having a withdrawal on the actual cards pricing themselves. PSA 10 Bubble Mew, for example, that was up to about almost $1,100 at one point in time. And if you go all the way down, it's all the way down to about $850 now currently. So we've seen a little bit of a slide since February 1st to April 1st. So over the last 2 months, we've seen a kind of a retraction on that. I don't want to say a bust, but it's not really a bust. It's just a correction for the market itself. Same thing with the Charizard from Paldean Fates was around $225 or $625, and is all the way back down now currently to about $450. So we're seeing about an equal retraction on most of the Illustrated Rares SIRs that were really booming before are now kind of coming back to reality. Some of them are still doing well. Some of the lower end ones, the closer you get down to like those $100 ones that were maybe like $25 are now $100. seem to be holding value a little bit better on that. Some Shrouded Fable cards are still holding as well. Once again, you're seeing that really good sections where some cards are doing okay, some cards are kind of sitting. You go down to the Persian, so let's just pull the Persian from Shrouded Fable, because I know a lot of people in the chat were kind of gung ho about Shrouded Fable for a little bit and purchasing into it, that the Persian was going to be a big hit. And I think it is. I think it's probably one of the best cards out of the set, but I don't know if it's going to maintain that set in general. I still find a ton of that product get dropped off at Walmart. Right now, I could go pick up Shrouded Fable right off the shelf at Walmart. The Persian was actually up to about $385 in the PSA 10, and now it's down to about $295. Still a huge jump from the $100 it was at December 1st to February 1st. You went from, like I said, about $100 all the way up to about $385, and now as of April 1st, you're down to $288. A little bit smaller of a drop, but still a considerable drop nonetheless. We can go into like the Dustnor is another one that a lot of people have been watching. Dustnor's actually stayed pretty consistent and really slow gains. So we've seen little higher sales, but it's gone up from December 1st up from about $78. By February, it's up to $100, and it's currently up to about $110. So probably more PSA 10 Mews coming to the market. Probably by price drop. It's all across them though. It's not just Mew. It's pretty much almost all the Illustrator rares that you can pull at this point in time. We're seeing a retraction on a lot of them. The market just boomed so high that it has to correct. It's not going to continue. Like I've talked about before, and I like always pointing it out, when you're looking at a graph and you start seeing a graph that's more of a sawtooth, where you start seeing like jumps up really nice and slow, that to me is what I'm looking for a nice stable growth in a market. And you get that nice stable continuous movement up, that tells me you got a healthy, really building market where there's people trying to sell, some people are buying high, and then it drops, and people are buying a little bit, then it kind of comes down, and you kind of get that nice little sawtooth growth on these products. That's telling you that you got a really good growth and you got a really good stable market. You're getting some organic growth and some organic gains on that. But then you start looking at a set. So, for example, if you want to look at that one too, the Bubble Mew, for example, I mean, for a card to go from a $300 to $400 PSA 10 all the way up. So December, so we can go even back to November. November, it was $250 for a PSA 10 of a Bubble Mew, to all of a sudden February being $1,100, and it's literally just a straight shot. The price just kept going, which means people started listing and people just kept moving the listings up. It's more of a I want, and a hype and a FOMO, rather than it being organic. You're not seeing the organic when you see a straight slope. Now what we're seeing is on the tail side of these, we're seeing some organic drops. So we're seeing it kind of stair step down, which tells me that we're starting to try and find people are trying to maintain the drop, but it is going to continue to drop. So even recent sales right now sitting at about $835 currently on that Bubble Mew. But once again, I don't think it's the fact that it's a specific card, because it's happening to all the cards. I mean, I can go through all of the top sets in Paldean Fates, for example, and so I can go to the Garnivore EX. It's the exact same story on a PSA 10. We've had a jump in February 1st to $300, and now currently on April 1st, it's down to $220. You can go through to the Pikachu from this particular set. And this had a peak up here at about February 1st for about $225, and now we're down to $178. So, I mean, we're seeing some retraction on pretty much all of them, and it's not just Paldean Fates. It's the same thing with Shrouded Fable. If I even go into, let's say, Twilight Masquerade, we can jump in. I don't know if the Greninja is a good example, but we'll look. Yeah, even the Greninja did it too. So the Greninja is up to $800. It's not as far of a drop, but we're down to about $735. So we are seeing a corrective market currently on a lot of these particular sets and a lot of these particular Illustrator rares. And it's to be expected. Once again, you can't expect these cards to hold. Another one here, even the SIR Perlin, another one that was sitting there, $275. And now today we're down to about $210. So we're seeing corrections all over the place. And it's 100% to be expected when we see those kind of boosts, them big jumps and big gains on that market. So yeah, and I mean, you can go right across the board. 151. I'm kind of curious. I haven't really paid attention to 151, even though I should, because I just sent out my Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. I finally sent them out together because I was trying to get a sequential set of those. So I'm really hoping, if I'm lucky, that I can get a sequentially graded PSA 10 set of those 3 cards. I would be absolutely elated if I could pull it off. I've come close on I've done it on doubles. I have not done it on triples. So if I send out 2 of something like the Zamazenta Zacian from Crown Zenith, I hit that. But when I tried to do it with the Radiant collection with the Blastoise, Venusaur, and Charizard Radiants from Pokemon Go, I got 2 out of 3. I missed one. So that's been my MO. I'm hoping that I don't miss this time. I made sure they were extremely clean. Centering was really, really good on them. So hopefully we can pull it off. Even a little bit of retraction on the PSA 10 Charizard EX. It was at about $1,000 here on January 29th, February 1st. And now today we're down to about $895. So we've seen some retractions on even Pokemon Go as well on the PSA 10s. And so I think that there's just a market correction coming right now. There's only so much people are going to spend on something before they just literally say, I can't spend this much. And when that starts to occur, then we start seeing this retraction of money coming back down just because of that. And if you were trying to sell at the peak, you probably missed the peak right now. Is that going to be the last peak? I don't think so. I think that we might see this stuff spike again as we get closer to like Destined rivals coming up here in the near future. I think that may cause another little bit of a blip and cause these illustrator rares to go up again at that point in time, just because you're going to get another influx of people who are really interested in the Team Rocket set. You're bringing back some of those Pokemon 151 people back in and wanting to get in on a Rocket set just because it's an interesting piece that they want. So, so we kind of use the chat on this one. So thank you, Antonio, for that. Awesome that you're kind of going through, and I just kept feeding into it for that part of it. So greatly appreciated. Frank Nitty, thank you so much for being in here. And Antonio, thank you so much for being in here. Quiet chat. Like I said, I'm off peak today. I did not want to miss my live this week. So even though I didn't get home until almost 10 o'clock last night, I decided to kick the live off today. And that way we can still have a discussion. People that couldn't be here today because they just didn't know that I was going, or, just I was out of sync, at least if they see this, they can definitely get caught up on it and see what we're talking about here tonight as well. Antonio, I'm just going to look real quick. I noticed that the top card on Journey Together is $10 more than Latias EX Illustration Rare. Yep. It's going to come down, though, I think, a little bit on that part as well. And we went through that. We did that. I don't know why market prices went down TCG Player. Yeah, I think it's just because recent sales are lower on TCG Player. I think there's more international sales right now on that particular card. Do you think that they add? I think they do add shipping. To be honest with you, I think if I looked at the pricing of that, they don't count shipping on TCG Player. They do, I think, on eBay, or they show that the shipping's down below, but that's not actually. I don't think either one of them count shipping into the price when they actually list the final sales price. Because TCG Player, unless you have the shipping built into the price, where you got like free shipping, then of course it is. But if they actually got the price of the shipping like down below or broke out, I don't think they count that in the actual sales price on TCG Player. Latias from Surging Sparks, about the same price. It is. Amazon selling Pokemon products from UK right now. I have seen that actually. So I don't know if UK's got a lot more product, or if they just have a lot less interest in there compared to the United States. But I am seeing a lot of influx from other countries into the United States for sales. It seems like the United States is really hurting for product, while places like UK, and I've also seen Australian sellers coming into the market as well. So I don't know if they've got a surplus of sales on those two continents, and they're just not. It's cheap. They're making money still sending it here and being competitive in our market. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're just making more money here than they could in UK, so that's why they're pushing this direction. Antonio says probably more PSA 10s. Yeah, it's partially that, but I don't think it's as much that as just the fact the market's deflating a little bit. Funny how Burning Shadows ETBs is the same price as a Journey Together pre-sale. LOL. I absolutely laughed at that. Because to be honest with you, if I'm going to open it too, I'd rather open Burning Shadows just because I know the Charizard's nearly impossible to pull, but it would be a lot more fun to open up Burning Shadows, in my opinion, than Journey Together. I think, my opinion, and maybe a hot take once again, is that Burning Shadows is, or I think that Burning Shadows would be a better set than Journey Together overall, but that's maybe my feelings on that. Wondering if they are going to release half booster boxes of Destiny Rivals. Probably in the UK. I don't know if they have ever released half boxes in English or in the United States. If they have, it's very, very small quantities because I have not seen. Let me see. Boxes. Because I know, like Evolving Skies, I have a couple half boxes in storage just because they're cool. They came from Britain, but I do have a couple half boxes of like Evolving Skies. Let me see. Half boxes of Destin Rivals. Yeah, I mean, they got the 6-pack bundles, but they don't actually show half boxes. If they did, like I said, that I've gotten them from UK. I've never gotten them here in the United States. Lowdown Dirty 100. I'm finishing up my Stellar Crown Master Set, and I just picked up the Terrapogus EX for $56. The card is in free fall right now. It doesn't surprise me. Well, once again, when you look at a card and why it's going to hold value, why would that card hold value? Who's collecting that card? And the reason it's free falling too is because it's not as playable right now. So that card is absolutely falling down, which I'm actually not surprised at all because I mean it was $500. Oh, that's that's PSA 10. It was never $500 in a. Let me turn that off. So if we go, I'm just gonna pull TCG player pricing. It was up to about 110. I remember it was sitting right around 80 for a long period of time, and now we're seeing it drop down pretty quickly. Um, it's not really who's collecting that card right now. You know, futuristically, it could. It's kind of like an Urshifu. It's kind of like some of the other sets. When you get a new Pokemon as the main category of that set, it's really hard to justify that particular card being on top. Am I surprised that the Squirtle and the Bulbasaur are about to move up above the price of the Terrapogus? Not at all. Terrapogus, Pogus, whatever you want to call it. Am I surprised that that's going to happen? No, not really. I think that they are better cards. I think that they meet more of the individuals in this hobby that enjoy it. And I think overall that that's probably going to be your best growth areas. They're going to be that Squirtle and that Blastoise, especially if you can get that Charizard too. And if you could grade them out and get some good grades on them too, it'd be really, really hot for that. Once again, another opportunity for a triplicate of sequential cards if you can pull it off. That's always the hardest part, is pulling it off. In theory, it's great. It's a great idea in theory. It's actually getting it to line up and making the graders at PSA realize what you're doing, so they maybe slip one through. How's it going, Lowdown Dirty 100? Once again, thanks for being here. Horizon, thank you for joining us. Europeans are more interested in tea and crumpets, cricket, and Warhammer, I think. Could be. Like I said, I'm just seeing a lot of sales from outside countries coming into the United States market, which to me is unusual because a lot of times it was the English market that was pushing out to the other ones. Because I know, like back in 2021, 2022, we were sending stuff out to them more than we were bringing in, and it seems like that role has kind of changed. Now, does that mean that is the U.S. market the one that's short and everybody else is getting more product, or is the interest in the US market heavier, and the UK market's getting the same as they were maybe 2 years ago, and the interest isn't peaking in there like it is in the United States? That's really the big question I would have on that. And there's probably a lot of research. I'd probably have to find a lot of people from the UK side that would be, able to tell me for sure, or maybe there is someone in the chat that's from UK and could say, is your market peaking as hard as we are here in the United States right now, where literally you have people fighting for cards and the shelves are completely bare? We are even out of these, I always call them little stupid dummy packs that you can buy from MJ Holding, and they're being ripped off the shelf and they're gone. I mean, they're literally buying packs of bulk right now because people want to open things and feel like they're getting a chance at getting a hit. And it's just getting to be that point right now, and it's just going to get worse. especially if we do not see bigger reprints from what we've been seeing so far. Like Temporal Forces, absolute flop of a reprint. You didn't even know it happened. Antonio, tons of people in UK got their Destined Rivals, Pokemon Center, Elite Trainer box canceled. I did hear that, actually. Yep, I did hear that a lot of those did get canceled. And I haven't heard very many from the United States, but I did hear that a lot of people in England did and Europeans did. I also did hear some people that were trying to purchase. Like I said, when I purchased one under my account, which comes to my house. I purchased one under my wife's account, which goes to her parents' house, and her parents don't buy Pokemon. So I heard some people saying that they were starting to go through the addresses and kind of cut the duplicates on the addresses. So if you've had two coming to the same address, I've heard some people on Reddit say that one of their orders got canceled. They were cleaning them up, and if you have two coming to one address, that was on Reddit yesterday, and today I've seen a couple people say on the comment chain that they've had their second order cut when it comes to the same address. So they use like theirs and their wives, and it was like they're going one per household instead. Knobs, he has thank you for joining. Did you get any of the Walmart drop that happened an hour or so ago? No, I did not. I saw it by the time I got it. I was busy, and by the time I got onto it, it was gone. So I knew I didn't have very much time, and I missed it. It's fine. I'm not too concerned about it. It's just, once again, buying at retail is just not the best practice when it comes down to running a business. I don't want to buy retail. Journey Together, I did not buy any retail. I had considered it. My friend said that they got a big drop here locally, but I did not do it. Kaon. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So, but yeah. Let me see here. Antonio. Uh think interest peaked here in the US compared to 2 years ago. I think I don't know if we're at as high as a peak as 2 years ago. I mean, I've had people ask me that. Um, I think interest is peaking more now for the same reasons. Do I think that there's more new people in? No, I don't think there's more new people. I think that people that were kind of partially in it, kind of doing it very little, are now fully engaged again. Do we have an influx of a ton of new people into the hobby? I don't think so. I think you're seeing a lot of influx from older, maybe people that are been half on the fence, half in, half out, are now fully engaging again because, once again, there's money. So the second that there's money involved, all of a sudden people lock in and fully engage again. And if the money goes away, are we going to lose those people again? Probably. They're going to disengage again, and they're going to go away until there's another boom, and then they'll fully engage again. I don't know if we're seeing as many new people like we did in 2020 or 2020 and 2021. I don't think we're seeing that huge insurgence of new people at this point in time. But I definitely do think that this is probably peaking. We're probably peaking with the few new people we have gotten, plus the people that have rolled back into it. We definitely could be at this point in time. Let's see, Antonio. Even mystery boxes are selling out almost. Yeah, they got one stupid mystery box right now. I have no idea why it's even out there, or why people would pay for it. It's literally a pack of sleeves. So I know I got one here somewhere. I always got a pack of sleeves sitting around here so it's like these. So you're getting like a pack of these inside with a pack of Scarlet and Violet. So you're getting this and a pack of Scarlet and Violet and a code card inside the box right now at Walmart for $14.99, and they sold out like literally in an hour. 2 hours they were gone. I saw them when I walked through after restock, and I didn't want to buy anything at retail. It's kind of just is what it is. I'm taking what I can get, and I'm just rolling with it. But they had them there, and they were gone in an hour. And if they were selling that, so you're basically buying a pack of sleeves. Those sleeves right now, any kind of sleeves from those, and they were ETBs. They weren't like the good sleeves. They were like the ETB sleeves. So like these are like the Lucario sleeves. So this is a little bit different ones, but they sold them out in a couple hours, and you for $14.99. So someone was buying a pack of sleeves and a Scarlet and Violet base set or Palais Evolved possibly inside of it for $14.99. So it's just insane that everybody's just buying everything right now. Antonio says Pokemon Center dropped items today and sold out fast. Got brand also today. Oh, yeah, I saw that pop up too on Poke Deals, and I was just busy, so I'm not really chasing stuff at retail at this point in time. Roxbury, Roxy Broxy 69, thank you so much for joining. They just said I just landed a bunch of Journey Together ETBs and bundles at Walmart about 45 minutes ago. Anyone else? That's what they were just talking about. I did not. I know some other people. I'm sure some other people probably in this chat did as well. So we got Kaon asked, I was at Walmart today and I caught a Pokemon restock. There were about 25 of them. Jeez, yeah, that's what I mean. The whole shelf was full of them and they were all gone. They disappeared. So the Journey Together, the other stuff disappeared first, and the second that was gone, they just completely cleaned it out. Let's see. Kaon said I went to Walgreens, the restock today, and they were selling a 4-pack of Scarlet and Violet and Paldea Evolved ×1 with 2 Trick or Treats. Really? I bought that mystery pack because it was actually $14.99 at my store. And actually, so here's a play. I'm gonna put it out there. Look at the booster packs. I just did a video about it on TikTok as well. The booster packs right now, and I'm trying to see. I know I had one here. I'm trying to see if it's still sitting here. So these 3 cards right here, and you can go for the Gengar and that too. But they have this Umbreon, and they have this Houndoom right now. And if you can get these 2 centered, and I'll give you so for example, I pulled 2 Umbreons, and you'll pull a bunch of Umbreons out of there. You'll pull a bunch of Gengars. You'll pull a bunch of these different cards right now. And if you're into grading and you want to do grading and you're trying to find new avenues and try and generate some income, these cards right now, you can get a booster pack, these boosters for the Trick or Treat packs for $12.99. I think they're on clearance for like $12 right now. So you can go buy the packs for like $12 right now on clearance. You can pull several of these. You can go to GameStop right now and you can pay $18 to have these things graded, $19 to have these graded. So realistically, you have probably, if you figure all the cards into it, you got probably $2. Let's just say $2 per Umbreon and Houndoom in the set. So you got $2, so you got $21 inside of there. And then you can sell it right now if you get a PSA 10 for $55. And there's been several recent sales at $55 over the last couple days. So it's a little bit of a play. The Houndoom, for example, another one. If you can get the Houndoom in there, it's $41. It's not as much, but it's definitely an option for a play as well. The Mimikyu sitting at about 57, the Darkrai at about 58, and the Gengar 52. The Fezandempiti is going at 55. Even the Ogerpon, the Teal Mask Ogerpon, is at 49, and the Pikachu Cosmo is sitting at about 45. So there's a bunch of cards inside of there that if you can get them well centered, that you could actually have a pretty good opportunity to make a little bit of cha-ching even off of that particular pack. So let's see. Can says that just sounds too risky. Like if it crashes to 40, you get no profit for selling fees on a sales platform. Nah, you'd still get profit. You gotta remember when you're only dealing with $20 is so for example, if you were to sell right now at $40 on eBay, even selling a PSA 10 on eBay, you're gonna lose 15%. So times 0.15. You're gonna lose $6 in fees plus shipping, you're gonna lose $10. So even at $40, you got $30. You're going to make roughly $9 a piece. Well, that is going to be the risk, but that's the risk of any card. If you take any card right now, buy it on the open market, and you grade it, and it gets a 9, you're dead. It don't make a difference which one. You're losing money. So you need to be good at pre-grading it. You need to know how to pre-grade really well. And once again, if you're into grading and you understand grading and you want to take chances at grading, it's a play, right? We could sit there and say that with coin plays. You could say that with any kind of play right now, unless you pull it and can pull it really quickly, like me with that Clefairy or Lily's Clefairy SIR. Then you get a chance because it was 1 in 3 packs. I bought a 3 pack, or I opened one of the 3 pack blisters, and I got it right off the bat, first 3 packs. So that's gonna make me a good profit, regardless. I get a chance to shoot at a 9, and if it gets shoot at a 10, hits a 10, I'm great. If I hit a 9, I'm still making money, but that's not realistically all that you're gonna have. I mean, it's all depending on your risk factor. Once again, if you're good at pre-grading and you're comfortable pre-grading, you do really well when you send cards off for grading, it may not be as big of a risk. It's just a quick way to make $9, and get constant $9 sales. If you don't and it sells, it's $19. You're making $19 profit per sale. If it's still selling at 55, 19, almost $24 per each one. So I mean, it's that money, it's that machine. How can you feed that machine right now? If it's lower, if you can pre-grade, you reduce your risks there. If you have really good luck at grading and you've been doing it long enough, you can usually know that most of them are going to come back as 9. If you send out 20 of them and one comes back at 9 and you get 19 tens, you're going to have something there. Granted, who knows when that window is going to close as well. If PSA starts elongating times, you may also miss that window. It's a risk. It's everything right now that you do is a risk, and you have to assess that risk and whether or not you want to take the chance at that risk. Grading is always a risk, and it's always a risk that you could miss. I mean, you are right. I feel like Trick or Treat is gimmicky set, so I feel like the risk is too hard. And you may, and I think it is. I'm only sending them in with a group of cards. It's not like I'm putting the whole bank on doing that. I'm just telling you something that might be an opportunity. I still remember the sleeves piled up with them and no one wanting them for $7. I know, and actually, I think that's what I picked these. So I think I went to who had them? Dollar General, I think, had them in the bin out front. So I went and they were like $7, I think, or $5 or $7 for. I bought like 3. I kind of just sifted through and bought like 3 or 4 packs. And so then I broke it down, just started breaking them down, and it's like, okay, well, I found 3 Umbreons that are perfectly centered, no whitening. Everything looks fantastic on them. I've got a bunch of Houndoons here. I got 4 of them. Same thing, perfectly centered, look really, really clean, no whitening. Corners are great, and it's a perfect spot to where if I can sit there and try and feed that machine, I can't get product. If you can't get product from distributor, you either go to the point where you're buying it from store at retail and you're flipping it, and then you're hoping that market holds and we don't get a massive reprint where the market dumps or people just get done where they're just I'm done type deals, and you get that situation, or you start looking for creative ways to make those. We did this in 2021, right? You found creative ways to make money. We started grading with CGC. Why? Because they were quick turnarounds and the market would take it because there weren't any PSA cards coming out. So basically, you have to sit there and risk assess. Number one, risk assess and decide whether or not you're willing to take these risks. If you're willing to take a $20 risk on an Umbreon card from the Halloween trick or treat packs, then great. You might have an opportunity to be able to turn some of these. And if you get enough of them and you turn them, even if you get a couple 9s in a group of 2010s, you could still wash that out to where you're being profitable. And that's just it. And how many people can run them numbers too? That's up to you as well. Do you have the income? Do you have the backing to be able to do that? So, but it's the same with any grading. I mean, grading in its nature is risky. It's not as clear cut as we may want it to be. For example, we just pulled this one. My son pulled this one out of the pack he opened, which is it sucks because he got this Zoark, and we wanted to send this one out for grading as well, but it's got a white spot in the corner. So I will say one thing: the Journey Together cards so far, from the ones I've opened live and from the ones that I have opened myself, are junk. So PSA 10s are going to be very, very good. They're going to go for a decent price with the junk that's coming out right now. So for example, another one I'm looking, I got this Noivern. So it's got a whitening on the corner. Got a big white tip on the corner. So joining together right now is going to be very, 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 very tough grading. That's gonna be my take on it right now. Um, these are ones I've just opened up today. We're gonna be shipping these out. But this one, Lichen Rock, another one. The front's nicely centered. The back, way off center. So the back and the front are mismatched even on them. So it's like they haphazardly put these things together this time too. Same thing. This one I gotta send out. I just have them here. They're going to be sipped out here. But the Wooloo, another one, center or front, perfectly centered. Back, off center. It's way off. I mean, it's not even close. So it's like everything I'm pulling right now and looking at for Journey Together has just been all of it's like that. It's off center. It's got white hits on the corners. They're not like dust either because the Noivern was mine and we can't get rid of it. They're just junk. The cards look nice, but I hear you. That's why I'm trying out sealed Pokemon right now. Yeah, right now it's probably the safest place right now is going to be sealed Pokemon because if you can get your hands on some of these sealed products for a really reasonable price, even at MSRP at this point in time for a lot of these, journey together, you get a booster box at MSRP, you're going to make money, right? You can go right now and buy it for $165, and you can go on to TCG Player right now and sell it for $230 to $240. I was 50% before, but now I'm moving towards it because opening product with Pokemon is way, way more fun than other card games. It is. I mean, I enjoy opening product too. That's why I do the rip and ship stuff. Is because otherwise I'd rip and ship I'd rip too much of it for myself and I wouldn't make any money and I'd lose money because I'd get caught up in it because I do enjoy it. But a lot of times it is. I mean, I like the sealed product too. That's why I put sealed product away from me. Otherwise, I get tempted to open it. But I definitely see the value in the sealed product as well. Getting stuff at really good pricing is definitely a plus. So yeah, I mean, there's some really good opportunities still out there if you can find them. There's definitely some really good cushions and things right now that we haven't had in quite a while, which is always nice as well when you can get those nice cushiony deals sitting around there that you can actually potentially get something at your local game store at MSRP and hold on to it for a little bit or be able to see some value. Now, I'd be very cautious about modern. I will always put that out there in the first 2 years of the life of a modern product. Remember, at any point in time, Pokemon can sit there and reprint it to death, and then you could lose all of your value. So don't necessarily count on holding on to this product for a really long time. It's just going to depend on how much reprint we get, how much demand there is for it futuristically. Is it a playable set? The playability also can drive the price for the bulk cards and also for some of the EX cards and things like that for the pricing as well. So, yeah, I mean, it can do a lot of different things. So, like the Zoarks and Zoark EX, absolute perfect ability. People like the ability, and the ability is really nice on this one. Trying to remember, there was one other one that was in here that's actually doing really well, and it didn't make sense why, but I've looked and the playability factor is there as well. So, Antonio, almost like the 151 hits. Have some, or hits. Some have nick in the top of the card. Yeah, and that's now it's like the white, like the cutters making a ripping the back when it's coming out. So a lot of them that I'm seeing right now have that white, and I never really did. Yeah, Wooloo even has it too. So it's like the cutter right now on the one corner here. It's been for me on this one. I'm just looking at the ones that I have here with the marks. Yeah, I mean it's so right now all the bad nick is on the if you're looking at the back, it's kind of random corner. It's any of the corners. So it's almost like the blades are getting dull and they're ripping instead of cutting. So that's going to make great ability on them extremely hard to see tens. And it seems to be a very common thing in the Scarlet and Violet block. Getting tens is the reason why tens are getting so expensive is because this whole box is full, literally full of Scarlet and Violet, Illustrator rares, secret rares. This whole box, junk. Can't grade them. Nothing to do with them. They're not gradable. I mean, they're still near mint. I can sit there and sell them as near mint, but because the centering, most of them, it's centering issues. Centering is horrible. Some of them, I'm gonna have to put lightly played because they got that nick in the top, and that's where I talk about, as in a previous video. If it has a nick when you open it, and all the cards have the nick, can you list it as near mint, or do you list it as lightly played? That's a really good one. Put it down in the comments. What do you guys think? Do you think that if you buy a card and you've got 7 of them, I've got like 7 of some of the cards, and they have the exact same mark, nick on every single spot, then is that still a near mint card, or is that a lightly played card, even though you pulled it that way? It's not something you did. It's not from playing. It's from the actual card, the print company. Lowdown Dirty 100. When you've opened Prismatic, you have experienced the Pokeball Hollows texture peeling off. I have not. I have not had any of the hollows. I've heard of it. I heard it's easy to do, but I have not. I have not personally had an issue with it, but I have heard of the issue. Near mint for me is 7 out of 10. So if I praise it as a 10, it's near mint. I kind of agree with that. I know some people will disagree with that. My thoughts is that if you've never played that card doesn't have scratches on the surface, but it has what I would call a manufacturer's defect that is in almost all of them. Go back to the Charizard, the Ninetales. Why do you think the Ninetales card is so hard and so expensive in a 10? Right now, if you go and if I go to Pokédata right now and I pull up Obsidian Flames, even the Charizard, they all have the nick. If you go right above the AR or the NE on the Ninetales or the AR on the Charizard, there is a nick. There is a little white mark on every one of them. I have 4 Ninetales cards. PSA 10, they're $215 right now for that card. In a raw, it's $22. And it was actually peaking in March at almost $340. It's because it's impossible to grade. There are only 2,011 of those graded as a 10. There are 4,209, and there are 1,290 in an 8. And that is because they pretty much come pre-damaged. It's impossible to find a clean one. Charizard EX from that set, another one. This is what I really blew my mind when it came down to this Charizard EX from Obsidian Flame. So the card itself has been sitting around $50 to $60. Now the price is going up because people are hunting that PSA 10. The population of a PSA 10 right now for that Charizard EX from Obsidian Flames is 2798. So we got 7,298. In a 9, it's 14,248. In an 8, it's 4,811. And in a 7, it's 650. That card is extremely hard to grade in a 10. At 50, you have it's half as good. You got half the chance of getting a 10 as you do a 9. And I can tell you, the Gloom card, the exact same thing. I got 3 Gloom cards. Exactly the same problem. There are over double the 9s. So all of them, the 9s are really heavy because they already have damage issues on them when you're getting them. Sizer, another one. Why is this card? I mean, I love the card. I think it's a really cool card from Obsidian Flames. It is a $9 card right now on TCG Player. And it is sitting right now at $186 for a PSA 10. There are 575 of them in a 10, 1,536 in a 9, 940 in an 8, and 197 in a 7. So there are more 8s and more 9s of that card just because of the fact that it is pre-damaged. So trying to find a clean one that got cut right is freaking hard. And it's the same thing with a lot of the Scarlet and Violet. That is the one thing that I find with a lot of the Scarlet and Violet sets right now is they are all coming up like pre-damage, pre-issues on it, problems with the damaging, all of that stuff. So it's going to be, and it seems to continue. Journeying Together to me has not had a better quality out of the Illustrator rares that my kids and I have pulled out of the one booster box that we opened and the few other things that we've opened together. I haven't gotten any good cards. The Wooloo's junk, the Neubird's got junk. What else I got sitting here? The Enzoark is junk. I can't grade that one. The Lycanroc is junk. The Clefairy, the Clefairy Z or Lily's Clefairy EX SIR is the only one, and it kind of had a mark on it, and I put it in the sleeve and I did the old PK massage on it, and it kind of went away. I couldn't barely see it. So I am taking a risk on sending it, hoping that it gets through. But if it, like I said, if it comes back a 9, I don't have a lot of money into it, so it's not like it's a big deal if it comes back a 9. I was worth the risk because Lily cards usually do fairly well futuristically as well. So it's one of those cards that I would not mind getting back as a 10. If it comes back as a 10, I still think it'll perform really well futuristically. So once again, looking at that, risk assessment on it, I have very little risk in it. So if it comes back as a 10 after I massage that out, if it's great. If not, I know why it got a 9. And I might just sell it as a 9 because I'll probably get the same price as a raw card at that point in time, which is still fairly decent. But I'm taking a risk because I could have listed it on the market last week or when it first came out on Friday and probably made $270 to $280 on that card. But now I'm waiting it out and it may come back and it might be down to $100 by the time it gets back. So be interesting to see. Fingers crossed that we take a chance and we get something good on that. Hopefully it works out for that one. But all right, guys. Well, thank you guys, everybody, to join me on this Wednesday. Greatly appreciated for everybody that's here tonight, as always. Like I said, sorry. Whoop, hold on. We got Lowdown Dirty 100. When do you think of top tier card quality? What set comes to mind? Mine's Celebrations. Celebrations had really good quality. Honestly, the one that I've had really good luck grading out of currently has been actually Pokemon Go and also Pokemon 151. I've had really good luck out of both of those two sets for quality, and it's kind of batch quality. Some of the batches are right on, some of the batches are way off. Paldean Fates has been fairly good too. All the cards we've pulled out of Paldean Fates all are fairly good. So Celebrations was good. I would say for some of the cards, other cards were not so good on Celebrations. I had some really bad cards. Professor's Research is another really good one. I've always wanted that one in a 10. And I've never been able to get one in 10 quality. I've got about 20 of them, and none of them are grade 10. The centering's always off on them. So I don't know if I didn't even think about that one. That might be another one to look at to see what the 10 rate is on it because I've tried to get a 10. I always wanted to get one for Professor Oak. I've been trying to find one when it comes through that I could get a 10. And I have not been able to. I got like 20 of them that I've pulled and have, and it's just none of them are good enough quality. The centering is too far off on every one of them. Let's see. What is the 10 rate of that? Here it is. That's $25 in a PSA 10. I thought it'd be higher than that. What's the population? Come on, computer, let's go. Celebration Single is the only cheap play out there at the moment. They are. I mean, all of them are cheap. All right, what are you doing? I mean, even PSA 10s, though, aren't very high on any of them. Let's see. Yeah, about 50-50. You got about a 50-50 chance between a 9 and a 10. Apparently, I've just had really bad batches because mine would not be 50-50. So Gold Mew is the most expensive. Oh, which is the most expensive? So the Pikachu. Really? Okay, if you guys had to guess, let me know in the chat right now. What would you think would be the most expensive card from Celebrations in a PSA 10? And I'm talking the regular, not the classic collection, but the like with the Gold Mew side, and all the hollows inside of it. Which one would you think would be the most expensive PSA 10? Sick card with the 3 starters. Yeah. Okay. The most expensive card in Celebrations. That's even crazier. Okay. So what do you think is the most expensive PSA 10 in there right now? Put it in the chat right now. OG Weedle Farm, welcome on in. How you feel about Professor Elm's research from Lost Thunder? I actually like it. I think it's a really, really cool card. Professor Elm's, and that's from Lost Thunder. I actually got the Suicune I'm going to be sending out for grading. I think it's a really cool card as well. With the, I got one of the Suicunes with the Lost Thunder or the stamp on it. I'm actually going to be sending that out for grading. I think it's a really, really cool Suicune card. Plus the stamp is always, I'm always drawn to a good old stamp card. So, yeah, that's this one right here. We got that Suicune from promo card from Lost Thunder. Yeah, the Professor Elm. I'm $399 right now for a PSA 10 on that one. Still $72 card on Raw, so it's doing well. Price has been pretty consistent though for it until recently. It kind of came up, but it's been sitting right around there about that $70 range for a long time. All right, Surfing Pikachu, LOL. Sick card with the 3 starters. I used to have that card. Uh-oh. I froze. I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm missing that one. So just to let you know, I see that low down dirty 100 put on there. Surfing Pikachu. You're close. It is the full art Pikachu. So the classic, the Gold Star. No. My guess is no, just the Pikachu. No, nothing before it. Just the Pikachu. Yeah, the most expensive card is the actual, just the standard in a PSA 10 right now is the standard Pikachu, like the one where they took the square box and made it the full art. $379.97. And I'm going to tell you the recent eBay sales on that in a 10. Let me pull them open. So the last one was that price, $397. Ooh, let's see. Here, I'll just go this route. Be quicker. So $397. The last one was $340. The one before that was $332. The one before that was $315. The one before that was $310. The one before that was one at $305, and then we were back up at $315. So yeah, I would not have put it as the 005 Pikachu from Celebrations. That is going to be your most expensive card of Celebrations. If you guessed that right today, ladies and gentlemen, contact. No, I would have thought it was the Charizard, or I would have thought it was the Gold Star Umbreon. I thought those would have been the two I would have put it on. I would not have put it on that Pikachu. So, for example, the Charizard in there is a PSA 10 Charizard. The number 4 Charizard is going to be $216. The Gold Star Umbreon right now is $188. The Shining Magikarp is $115, and then followed up with the Rayquaza at $95. So there you have it. That's going to roll out your. We'll give you top 5. Birthday Pikachu at $88. Cynthia's Garchomp from. Yeah, because that's what's that thing raw? It's not $3 raw. There you go. Oh, there's some really nice cards in there. I think the only one that I'm actually missing from my set currently, I believe I gotta finish up. I'm gonna just buy it. Is I think I'm missing the Charizard because I've never pulled the Charizard, and the other one that I believe that I'm missing out of there currently is the Luxray. The Luxray X is the other one that I'm missing. It is $3. It's ridiculously low, which is a fantastic price for any kind of card right now. I'm guessing it's hard, or it's a hard 10 grade for the Pikachu. Well, let me see. I didn't look at the population. I should have. So I'll look at that real quick. We talking about our PSA 10s? No, we're just talking about PSA 10s. Not our PSA 10s, just of PSA 10s. Great ability on that for per population. It's a pretty hard 10. Not gonna lie. 368 of them in a 10, 2731 in a 9, 2296 in an 8, 7 or 504 in a 7, and 125 in a 6. So it's a pretty tough one. But if you took your time and found one, it'd be really, really good chance. A really good shot. I wouldn't touch the clay doll though. We Luxray, Rocket, Zapdos, and Dark Gyarados. Yeah, I got. Let's see. I believe that's the only one that I'm missing currently is the. I'm 99% sure that I'm only missing the Luxray. The Luxray and the Charizard, I think, are the only two that I'm missing currently. 50-50. Grab the wrong binder. Hold up. Hold up. Wait up. Here we go. I got too many binders. Yep, missing the Charizard. Oh, I'm not missing the Luxray. I do have the Luxray. What's the one I'm missing? I probably should know this in case I ever want to buy it. Buy the wrong one. Oh, darn. My bad. Let's see. I've got the Umbreon. I got the Blastoise. Blastoise, Venusaur. I've got the Professors. I've got the Rockets admin. Here comes Team Rocket. Birthday. Shining. Magikarp, Cleffa, Dark, Groudon, Claydol. Oh, that what I'm missing? Maybe let me check the other page here. No, I got that one. What is the one I'm missing? Probably the dumbest one. Am I missing the Xerneas? No, I got Xerneas. I hate the way this is set up because they're always different. I got Gardevoir. I got Claydol. He's right there. Oh, I'm missing Garchomp. Okay, I'm missing Garchomp. So I gotta get the Garchomp X, which is really, really cheap. All right, let's see where are we at here. Professor Oak, I'm late. Any cool cards back from PSA? Not really at the moment. Most of them I did sell. I did get from Hidden Fates. I got I got back the Mewtwo GX. I got that in a 10. Come on, camera. Yeah, I got that one in a 10. That was kind of a nice one that I added to my collection. I got the Japanese Reshiram Charizard right now. That one I got back in a 10, so I was happy with that. I got a bunch of Japanese 151s back that I'm selling in the Japanese market right now. They actually pay about 5 times more. Are you done making plays with XY and Sun and Moon, Andy? Remember our Mega Gardevoir EX? I have those. No, I'm still buying them. If I find them at a good deal, I'm buying them. This is my favorite personal collection one there. Got my Flareon Japanese and a PSA 10. So I was happy with that. Get that back. Just looking. Otherwise, I got a lot of Japanese a lot of Japanese 151. But if I sell them on the Japanese market and I actually put them onto eBay Japan, they sell about 4 times higher than they do here in the U.S. market. So even in a 10, most of these are like $40. If I put them on there, they're like 180, and then they'll pay for shipping to get them there. So if you can make a proxy, it's a really, really good way of doing it. PSA 10 Shadowless Venusaur was a wish. Yeah, I wish I could get that one as well. I wouldn't touch Claydol though. So, all right, guys, we're running over already. We're about 20 minutes overtime. So thank you guys, everybody, for joining us here on this Wednesday night. Greatly appreciated to have you guys here this evening, as always. We will be back on Tuesday as long as nothing happens. I checked my calendar. I've got nothing going on next Tuesday, so we should be all set and ready to rock and roll as long as nothing happens. We got a lot of things happening in the school right now, and we got to get it taken care of here before the end of the year. So trying to get all that wrapped up on the school board here before the end of it. Before the end of the year, before contracts all got to be done. So it's kind of been a little bit of a fight there trying to get that finished. But otherwise, should be clear next Tuesday, so we'll see you next Tuesday. I am putting a video out on Friday, so check out the video. Like I said, going to be a little bit of a hot take, but some people are going to like it. Some people are going to understand. Some people are going to be mad. And that's sometimes the way it goes, and that's all right. One last thing before you leave, if you would, consider looking at the channel membership. If you join the Emoji Gang, it gets me 1 cup of coffee, and I'm trying to get 30 of them this month or by the end of the year. So consider joining that. And last but not least, check the description. We are selling Northwoods TCG merch, which will be available for you down below as well. Hopefully, we guys a fantastic rest of your week. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow night here we'll be live doing Rip and Ships. So per request, everybody asked. I had a questionnaire out, and a majority of people said that they wanted to do the Rip and Ships here. And I know Antonio was here with us on Saturday or on Friday or Friday. I'll get the day right if I say them all right. On Sunday, Antonio was here, but we will be back tomorrow here and on next Sunday as well. So we will be live here, opening, ripping, and shipping, having some fun, talking about Pokemon, and just enjoying the time that we have together. So other than that, thank you guys, everybody, for joining.